Hi, good morning, and welcome to episode 27 of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith. My pronouns are they, them. I am so happy that you are joining me here today. Today is Saturday, November 15th. It is cold outside. It was 29 when I woke up today. Not mad about it. I love the cold. I'm here for the cozy. This is great. We have a new backdrop, at least for the moment. I will get into it, but basically I have rearranged my entire room. And so for the moment I am on the floor because it's kind of difficult to get my recording chair out from where I put it. So there's that. Anyway, hi, welcome. This is my knitting podcast where we talk about all the things I have been making recently. And it has been almost 2 months since my last podcast episode. In the last episode, I was like, I got officially diagnosed with asthma, and I have asthma now. I also had pneumonia again, and we're just gonna dive right in. So get yourself cozy. We're gonna catch up on all the things that we've missed. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit faster because we have contractors coming for remodeling the kitchen, and I want to try to film before they get to the house, but we will also get into that, I promise. Anyway, lost my train of thought. I have been very sick. So, in fact, I am still sick. I'm sure you can hear it. I'm clearing my throat a lot. If I waited until I was better to record, I might never record again. So we're rolling with it. So pardon any coughing, any awkward cuts in the video. Just assume I stopped and was coughing. So it is what it is. I had pneumonia for like a week. I got better from pneumonia. I still had asthma that was not behaving. Spoiler, the asthma is still not behaving. But I was good enough to go back to work and have my inhaler at my desk and be doing my best. And there was a common cold bug going around work, and because I was still weak from having had pneumonia and because I have asthma, of course I caught it. So then I was out sick for another week. And then I got better from that. ? Who knows? I'm not running fevers anymore. But at this point, my lungs are just damaged, and my asthma answers to no man or God or anyone. And I am still... In the meantime, we've had a lot of remodeling done in the house. So, like, I got a new ceiling put in my room, and the dust gave me an exacerbation. Now we're getting the kitchen remodeled. The paint fumes have given me an exacerbation. It just, nothing is helping. I've been on so many steroids, doing so many things. I now, at my doctor's office, have 2 general practitioners I can see. And I have a favorite nurse practitioner. And when I go into the office and there's someone in front of me, and they just see that I'm there, they just check me in without me identifying myself, because they know who I am. And... it's great. Just so good. And I feel like I'm playing like chronic illness bingo, where I'm like, every day I wake up and I'm like, I don't know how the day is going to go. Like, we'll see. Well, I've been brought very low by this. Most recently I was on super high dose prednisone. I've been on 4 rounds of prednisone this year. That's how it's going. I had my 4th round. This time they did high dose instead of just like the generic 20 milligrams for 5 days. They were like 50 milligrams and then do a taper. And when I tapered off, of course I had side effects. My body is just very sensitive and extra, as am I, honestly. So I had extreme fatigue and went from sleeping like 6 to 8 hours a day to sleeping like mandatory 12 to 14 hours. Like, I would wake up at 7:30 in the morning, and I would eat breakfast, and I would do half an hour of knitting, and 15 minutes in, I would be like, I'm ready for a nap, and at the end of 30 minutes, I'd be like, mandatory, I need to go to sleep, and then I would sleep till like 11:30. And I'm rather high energy. I do a lot of knitting, so that has been driving me absolutely bonkers because I'm like, I've been stuck at home and I should have 1,000,000 pairs of socks to show for it. And I have like the same amount of socks to show for it as if I'd still been working 40 hours a week. So there's that. I've been on intermittent medical leave, which is a godsend because otherwise I would not be doing great at all, especially considering how much yarn I've been buying lately. So yeah, that's been why I haven't been filming. I haven't had energy. I haven't been able to talk. Like the number of times that I've just been like between my throat being messed up, my lungs being messed up, because that's one of the other things. The inhalers that I'm on are high dose steroids for my lungs. Makes sense for my lungs. My throat is like, what if we have thrush constantly? So I have to use mouthwash like multiple times a day, because if I don't, if I'm like, oh, I'll just eat food after, which is like an alternative for most people when you take a steroid inhaler, or if you're like, I'll just rinse with water. Nope, I know immediately. I know within 12 hours. I'm like, this sucks. So I go through like a bottle of mouthwash every 2 weeks. Like, it's awful. I'm not doing great is what I'm trying to say. I have good humor about it, but like, I'm not. It's not fun. So that's why I haven't been filming. I literally like routinely get to the point where I just can't talk. Like, I would not be able to film an episode because I would not be able to speak long enough. So I'm gonna use my words to film today to give an update, and then I probably will not speak the rest of the day, which is fine. Anyway, on top of all the illness and stuff, again, we've had our house remodeled. We have a general contractor who's just kind of going room by room through the house. So I got a new ceiling. That was an adventure. I got to I didn't have great notice. I knew that I was going to get a new ceiling, especially if you follow me on Instagram. Reminder to follow me on Instagram if you want to know if I'm alive. Also, I have a Ravelry. Links will be down below, blah, blah, blah. If you follow me on Instagram, you have probably seen random stories where I'm walking around my room and there are like gaping holes in the drop tiles of my ceiling. So it has been planned for me to get a new ceiling for months, like basically since last spring. And the contractor had been doing ceilings through the house because there were a bunch of them that needed to be redone. And I thought I was going to have like another couple weeks to do the ceilings. And then my roommate, who also works with me, on my first day back from being sick the second time, so being sick with like a normal plague, at 2 p.m. on our break, my roommate was like, by the way, your ceiling's getting done tomorrow. You're going to need to prep your room. And I was like, I have planned exactly 9 hours of physical activity for the day. And you're telling me I now have to move everything off of my floor and all of the furniture has to be moved out. I can leave like my bed and the dresser. And I have to clear everything. And she was like, I think you can just clear off the surfaces. And so I Googled it and I was like, no, I have to move literally everything. So thankfully, I called one of my friends and he was available to come help me because I literally would not have been able to do it. Like we have like a regular basement on the other side of my room because I'm on the bottom floor, and it's like very empty. So all I had to do was like put things in bags and just like move it. But walking back and forth, I was like, I'm going to pass out. Like, I'm going to faint. I'm going to have like an actual asthma attack, like a dramatic one. I was like, this is not going to work. So he came over. I was like, I'm going to put things in bags and I just need you to like move them because I can't do that. So between the two of us, we were done by like 8 p.m. And I was like, I am now acutely dying once again. And then I got my new ceiling. I got to stay in my room. I was like, that's great. There was so much dust. So much dust. I went from being like, I'm on the up and up to like, I am unwell once more. So it's great. Also, the contractor, I've had to stay home so much that like I'm around when the contractor is here. And he knows that I'm very ill, but I don't think I've mentioned to him that I have asthma. And so now at this point we have a running joke that like our contractor is trying to kill me because he just keeps doing things that like don't make sense breathing wise, and I'm like, I can't breathe, bro. Like he's remodeling our kitchen right now. So yesterday he painted all of the cabinets aqua, which is great. It was cold out. It was cold outside. It was like 40 degrees. So he did not open a single window. And I had my first ever acute asthma attack, the kind where you're like coughing and you can't stop coughing. And like, I don't have that kind of asthma attack, so I left my inhaler upstairs. Like, it's always in the same spot. I always know where it is. But like, I don't need it to be within 3 feet of me because that has never ever been a problem before for like, you know, the 6 months that I've been dealing with this or whatever. So suddenly I was like, I need this right now, and there's a flight of stairs. So I like come up this flight of stairs and I'm like coughing, and like the whole upper floor is just like the most insane amount of paint fumes, and I was like, oh, this is toxic. So I go into like the farthest corner and I'm like using my inhaler, and I was like, I was coughing so hard. I was like, I don't know if I can control my cough long enough to like get this medicine into my lungs. Like, it was bad. I was like, holy shit. And then I had been planning to like hang out upstairs for a little bit, so I had like brought like my water and my knitting like with me, and then was like, I'm gonna hang out near my inhaler because the inhaler does not move from that spot and therefore it's never lost. And then I was like, that's not gonna work. So ixnay on that. So I went back downstairs immediately. I was like, he must think this is absolutely unhinged. The moment he left, we opened, I opened, my roommate had left. She was like off hanging out with friends or something. Oh no, actually no, she was getting a tattoo. What am I talking about? She was getting a tattoo. I opened every single window, turned off the heat, put on the hood vent in the kitchen, put on our air purifier. I was like, I literally texted her. I was like, I don't care if I'm being dramatic. Like, I can't breathe. I'm like, I can put on another coat. I cannot put on another set of lungs. I was very validated that she got home like an hour after I did all that, and she was like, no, it's really bad in here. She's like, you're not being dramatic. I was like, okay, thank you. So I'm like, a nurse is trying to kill me. Anyway, so those have been my adventures. Those are my exciting things. They're like, I'm ill. I love that we are almost 13 minutes into this and we haven't even started talking about knitting, but I've embraced that this is going to be a stupidly long episode. This will probably be a record-holding long episode. Anyway, so yes, that is my life. I'm trying to think if there's been anything else happening, but oh, I got into college. I think that sounds disappointing. I'm not disappointed. I'm really excited. I got into community college. I have a bachelor's degree, but I would rather find out that I don't like the field that I'm thinking about going into for associate's level money and associate's level GPA than getting into a master's program and realizing I hate it. So I joined like a 1-year certificate program for accounting. It'll start in January, so that's going to be interesting. And I'll be taking 13 credits my first semester, which sounds insane considering I do work full-time when I'm not sick. And it's been such a year. But I'm not taking all the classes at once. I'm doing like a winter mini-mester. I only have 2 classes that'll be going like January to May. And then the last class will be running like March to May. So it's going to be fine. At least I keep telling myself that. I mean, we'll see how it actually goes, but I'm not concerned. So that's my life. That's what I've got going on. In the meantime, let's get into knitting. And I have pigs. The pigs live in this bucket, and this bucket lives upstairs. It's not a bucket, it's a bin. It's an organizer thing. I don't know. Anyway, I also have this little project bag, which is from Sea Bags, Maine. That's all my notions and stuff. Here's the cotton balls I use. Some of you, hold on. Yes, I just can't count. Okay. I'm going to try to hold this up and not dump pigs everywhere so you can see the shenanigans. So I have 13 balls of yarn left over from my Mermaid's Pearl socks, which I will show you in a hot second. And I'm going to hold these up. I just need to organize them. And I've been making a pig out of every single color. I'm not going to work most of the time at this point, so instead of making one when I come home from work, or like having the option to make one when I come home from work, I usually just like on Sundays knit a couple pigs now. So these are the first 4 piggies. I'm going to make one in every color, and then I'm going to put these yarns aside for a different yarn plan thing that I have going for me. And then I'll move on. I have a different bin that I'm going to stage yarn for pigs, and I'm going to leave it. It's the same as the bin I showed you. It's just, I need these yarns to stay in order. These are my other 4 little babies. I love them so much. They're so cute. Apparently I can't keep pigs in order and talk. So, anyway, I want to have everything staged for pigs and just like left upstairs so that when I feel like knitting a pig, I can just knit a pig. That's my genius plan. So I have some other yarns already. I have some leftover yarns that it's fingering weight, but it needed to be held double anyway, so it's already perfect for pigs. So that'll be my next one after I finish all of these. So these are leftovers from my Mermaid's Pearl Advent 2024. Actually, I'll get into plans now, because I'll probably forget to do it later. I'm all over the place. It's the reason for the season. On New Year's Eve, I don't party. That's not my vibe. So instead, I'm going to cast on a sweater. I've never finished a sweater in my life before. I have attempted to knit one. In fact, the attempt is still sitting over there, and I've never shown it on the channel, including on my very first episode when I brought out every single whip I own, because I forgot that I had it. It's not going to get finished. It's going to get frogged at some point, and then I'm going to use the yarn. It's, I want to say it's Wool of the Andes, but don't quote me. And I'm going to use it for something else. But this yarn, I'm going to cast on the whatever sweater. If I remember, I'll put a screenshot of it. And that's going to be my, excuse me, wild and crazy New Year's Eve plans 2025 into 2026 is casting that on. And then I'm saying this so that I actually do it. I'm going to knit that and finish it in 2026. It's fingering weight held double. It's scrap yarn. You can't see it. This whole shelf is nothing but scraps. This is all scraps. This is stroll. This is bothering me. Anyway, and then I have a million minis, and I have a million more minis over there, so I've got some yarns that I can use on my sweater, but I'm going to start it with the Mermaid's Pearl so that there's a really nice fade on the yoke. It's just a basic vanilla top-down raglan. It's going to be great. We're going to take a hydration break, so pick up your water and drink with me. Let's toast to our health. May it stay good. Yeah. They messed up my coffee at Dunk's this morning, and I'm like, I have hurt feelings about it. Oh, I'm wearing hand-knit socks today. Behold. My plan back in September was the first week it was cold, I was going to come on here, and I was going to do a special bonus episode that was all the socks that I own, because all the socks that I've made this year that I hadn't been able to wear yet, I kept them separate in like a little bag, and then all the socks that I own from previous years are in my dresser, and I was going to take all of them out and be like, look at every single pair of socks that I own, and then talk about like which ones are my favorites, and possibly cull some older ones that I don't usually wear anymore. And then that did not happen. So So yeah, but I am wearing socks today. I'm wearing new socks. These ones are Stroll Tweed. The contrast color is North Pole Heather, I think. And the main one I think is like Barnyard. I think it's Barn Door. Yeah. Anyway, that's exciting. I'm really loving wearing my hand knit socks. I've started wearing them around the house, which I've never done in previous years, and that is the way to wear socks. I used to judge the people who were like, I only wear hand knit socks around the house, and I was like, oh my god, literally why? I think because I'm from Florida and therefore I'm like, barefoot is my default, and anything beyond barefoot, I'm like, I don't like this. Unless I'm wearing my Crocs slippers, because those are great. Anyway, then I started wearing hand knit socks around the house, and I'm like, actually, I think I too don't want to wear hand knit socks inside of shoes. It's also me. Anyway, so the next thing on our agenda, I do have notes. It's so many notes. It doesn't look like it, but like they're really dense. The next thing on the list is to go through all the socks I have made since September, and it is quite a few. So buckle in. A lot of these, if they were for me, I've already worn them. If they're for other people, they're already bagged up. One of the things I really like to do, just to streamline my life and make it easy, I have one of those mint bins that I already showed that has it has like 200 4x6 organza bags. It has mailers. It has blank greeting cards. It has little to from tags. It has jot address slips and a Sharpie. And then it has you know how like if you have like AAA or if you like donate to different societies, sometimes they send you like these random labels that just have like your name and address on them, and then they want you to like donate more money in exchange. I never donate more money, but I do keep them. And those are over there too, so it just has like my name and address. It's great. So I pre-stage it, and then whenever I finish a pair of socks, usually I show them on the podcast, and then when I'm done with the podcast, like as it's uploading to YouTube, I go put them, if it's for someone in person, I put them in an organza bag, and I put the to from slip, and I write their name on it, and then it goes into like a designated basket that's like gifts for other people, so that when I see them, I just grab it out of the basket, and I'm like, here you go, and it looks really cute because it's socks in an organza bag. So all of this to say, all of the socks that I've knit for other people are already packed up, or they've been given to that person, or I don't have them, except for the ones I finished this week. So we're gonna do a slideshow presentation. That's what we're gonna do. So the first one I finished, I did talk about in the last episode. That was the Mermaid's Pearl striped socks. So those were with my Mermaid's Pearl Advent from 2024, which is a gift from my parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I say this like they watch. I've never told them that I have a podcast. They don't know I go by Zenith. So that's the only reason I haven't told them, is because like I'm not changing my intro to say Z, which is how I usually get away if I don't feel like being fully out to people. I'm just like, oh, I'm Z, and they're like, okay, that makes sense. So anyway, I'm obsessed with these socks. They are so absolutely wonderful. I wore them for the first time last week, and they just make me so stinking happy. They're so soft. They're so good. I love the striping on them. Oh my god, it makes me so happy. So those were made on my kind of vanilla recipe, which is to cast on 56 stitches on size 1.5 flexi flips. The other thing that has happened since the last time I filmed is I needed to order 2 more pairs of flexi flips for some upcoming plans for December. I went on to the Bad River, the Amazon, to order more flexi flips, and I put in like, flexi flip size 1, and it was like 2.25, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. So I went into my order history from when I bought flexi flips for the first time 2 years ago. And I've always known that my gauge is a lot bigger when I use flexi flips compared to using Magic Loop or DPNs. But I also know that most people, like, their gauge changes as they go from like DPNs or Magic Loop to flexi flips or like 9-inch circulars. So I've never like really thought anything about it, even though I know that it's like a dramatic difference. It's like an 8-stitch difference between the two. So I went back in my order history 2 years ago and I bought Flexi Flips, and sure enough, it was like, well, you have a 2.5 millimeter size 1. And I was like, is that a size 1? No, that's a size 1.5. So apparently Addie, when they sell their Flexi Flips on the Bad River, just lists both the 2.25 and the 2.5 as a size 1, and they don't distinguish that one of them is a 1.5. So this whole time, I have been lying to literally everyone I know and saying that I knit on size 1, and I actually knit on size 1.5, and that is why I have my gauge is the way that it is, and that is why my adult size socks have a gauge of 56 stitches, which now makes my whole life make sense, because when I'm knitting things on larger needles, my gauge is actually pretty tight compared to most patterns, and I was like, it's really weird that my gauge is so tight on other patterns and it's so loose on smaller needles. It must just be how I hold smaller needles compared to larger needles. No, I just don't know what I'm doing. So that's a whole tangent for you. All of that to say, I knit 56 stitches on size 1.5 Flexi Flips. I do my standard vanilla recipe is 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, 30 rounds for the leg, a slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, however many rounds I need for the foot, and then a square toe. And then also my standard is to use a contrast color for heel, cuff, and toe. Heel, cuff, toe. Yeah, so that's my Mermaid's Pearl socks. Those ones I did a little bit differently. I striped the yarn so that I did 3 rows of every color. I had 13 colors, so that was 33 rows total for the leg, and then I put the heel on it, and then I did 5 rows for the foot, because 65 rows before the toe is what makes sense for my foot, which came out to just like really pretty numbers. It was really nice. And then I put a square toe on it in the contrast color. So that was that. So now we're moving on officially. So the next pair of socks I finished were the Sunday Swing socks. I used Stroll Effects building blocks for these. They were a gift from my friend Kaylee. Sunday Swing is a free pattern from knitty.com. It's an older pattern, and I love it so much. It was so much fun to knit up. 10 out of 10 recommend, would make it again in a heartbeat. It was just so much fun. The next pair I made was socks for myself. I was pausing because it's a pattern that I've knit multiple times, as we will see. So look forward to seeing this pattern again. But this is the first time I made it. I used the Hidale pattern by Audrey Borrego. And I used some scraps, some leftovers from my stash, West Yorkshire Spinners Rum Paradise. These socks were for me, and they were the first pair of socks I wore in sock season, because they are so much fun and they are so warm and so good. And oh my god, I was like, I have been very sick and very frustrated, and I wore these to work, and for a variety of reasons I should not have been having a good day, and I was having the best day because I was just wearing my hand knit socks, and I was like, everything is better when you have hand knit socks on. Like, people are like, are you good? And I was like, I'm Gucci. I've got socks I made on. I am sitting in my power today. Yes, I am. Cough, 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 cough. It was great. I'm like, where's my inhaler? I'm fine though. Got hand knit socks on. So I love that pattern so much. I'm gonna make it 1,000,000 times. Also, it's free now because the designer has unfortunately retired. I have mixed feelings because on the one hand, I'm happy that I can access all of her patterns, and like I do not have to think about like any sort of finances before I just cast on anything she's done. On the other hand, I'm like, she has a giant pattern library, but I want more of them already. Like, no, why did you leave? I'm enjoying this pattern so freaking much. The next pair of socks I made was it was a vanilla sock, but I made it tall. I think I did 60 rounds instead of 30 for the leg. These are for a coworker who is incredibly tall, and he was like, I would prefer tall socks, and I was like, I'll do my best. So I put an extra 30 rows on the legs. These were so much fun because the yarn is Knit Pick Static. It's an old colorway, so I don't think you can get it anymore, but it's Pizza Party, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed, and that just made me really happy. I've never really watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I don't know, I thought the yarn was really fun, so that was those. Those were for a guy. I always do 56 stitches no matter who I'm knitting for. The only time I change the stitch count is if the pattern calls for a different multiple, and then I usually decrease just before I put the heel on it so that it goes back to the regular count at the foot. Or if someone has wide feet and they say that they have wide feet, I will increase the stitch count for that just to accommodate. We're getting to the point where I'm coughing a lot, and we're gonna see how this the remainder of this episode goes, because it's not time for me to take my inhaler yet again, and I've just taken a cough drop. So the next pair of socks I finished begins the Christmas knitting. I did not think about Christmas gift knitting this year until it got cold, and it got cold unseasonably late this year. So if I may not get all of my Christmas knitting done this year, we'll find out. We'll find out in December for sure. But I started. So the first pair, these were another pair of vanilla socks. This was Tiny Human Knits Jolly Holiday. I think they look like a Taylor Swift Eras colorway. I don't think that they really look like Christmas at all. But that's fine. I'm going to give these to my mom. She gets really excited for hand knit socks. It's really cute, even though she lives in Florida and can't wear them most of the year. Whatever. If she wants socks, I'll make her socks. The second pair I completed. I think that's all I have to say about that one. Yeah. The second pair of Christmas socks out of 10. I plan to make 10 pairs of socks for gift knitting for Christmas, Yule, Hanukkah, all those things. This pair is the Circuit socks. I'm obsessed with them. Look, they're so impressive. They're so freaking impressive, and this is for a friend of mine who does not watch this, thankfully, so I can say this. When I make her socks, she also lives in Florida, and she's a nurse. So she wears them to work anyway, even though she's on her feet and running around and doing all sorts of crazy stuff and working codes and whatever. She wears her hand knit wool socks anyway, because she wants to show them off to other people that she has cooler socks than they do. And I said, say no more. I said, if you're going to show them off, I will also show off. And I made her mosaic knit socks. These were also a joy. This is a free pattern, and I'm obsessed with them. Oh my God, they're so good. I want to knit so many more pairs. The way I've been eyeing my stroll stash to be what 2 colors would go together for another pair of Circuit socks. Anyway, for these ones, I used 2 different leftovers. I used my ChemKnits Halloween 2024 leftovers, and I used Stroll Melon. And I still have, you can see it right here, I still have quite a bit of leftover for the ChemKnits Halloween yarn. In fact, if I pushed it, I could probably get another pair of socks out of those. I'm not going to. I'm going to use it for Yarn Cozy. That's what that bag is future Yarn Cozies. But that was my plan. So that is all of the things I've taken pictures of that are already wrapped up. Whatever. We're going to move right along. We're still in finished objects. Do not worry. The other thing I made was I made a cowl. This is the No Rhinebeck No Problem 5. I do not go to Rhinebeck because, for one thing, I cannot trust myself to be at Rhinebeck. That is a sort of overstimulation where my brain will turn off and I will just buy thousands. I will buy thousands of dollars in yarn and then go to my hotel room or whatever and be like, what did I even buy? I don't even like this color. Why do I have a natural dyeing kit when I don't have any dyeing supplies at my house or dedicated dye equipment? Why did I do that? I know I would buy a fleece and then be like, why do I have this? Like, I know this about myself, so I don't go to Rhinebeck. But I do knit the No Rhinebeck No Problem patterns from Sweater Freak. The one from last year, the No Rhinebeck 4, that one is like my favorite cowl pattern. I've knit it twice. I'm going to knit it again before the end of the year if all goes well. I'm literally obsessed with it. Like, I literally wear it every day in winter. I wear my No Rhinebeck 4. But this one is the No Rhinebeck 5. I've not worn it out into the world yet, but I will put it on. It's a Dickie style, which I don't love. It makes way more sense now that it's blocked, I will tell you that much. Before it was blocked, I kind of like had a bit of a moment, but it has little flaps. So like if you're wearing, a coat, you can just like, it's gonna insulate everything. It's tight enough that you can wear it over your face. Especially if I will shamelessly just like hook things over my hair sticks and then keep your face warm, which is very important for me because one of the asthma triggers, of course, is cold air. So I need to have my face covered. I need to look dramatic when I go outside. That's just how it be for me. Yeah, this is Mosaic Knit. I used fingering weight held double. I used some Hawthorne, don't ask me the colorway, and then I used 3 mini skeins of I think it was the Snorkel mini skein set of Stroll. I think it might be one of the other ones, but it is like beach themed, and so I thought it was kind of cool to do like a mountains and sea kind of theme for this. That was kind of my thought process. They said according to the pattern, I thought I was going to need 5 mini skeins, so I wound them all up double, and now I have the last 2 mini skeins still wound up as DK weight. So those are going to be the ones that will become my pigs. So I'll be working on those eventually. But this is the No Rhinebeck No Problem 5. If I was going to make it again, I don't think I would put the flaps. Based on the feedback that the designer got during the knit along, she did in the final pattern put an option to not have the Dickie style and just do like a general circular cowl. If I made it again, that's what I would do because I really loved the fit of how it was pre-blocking. And I was a little bit annoyed that like I had to block it because the flaps made no sense. I'm not going to post the pictures of what it looked like before it was blocked, but I was like upset with like how it fit before it got blocked because I was like, this looks dumb. Like this looks really, really, really like it doesn't make any sense. It makes sense once it's blocked, but now it doesn't fit my face the way that I want it to because I'm not great at blocking things. I don't usually block my socks. I just kind of dry block them on blockers. Anyway, I'm rambling. But that was the No Rhinebeck No Problem. So the next one is actually going to ignore that for now. What's the word I'm looking for? The next one is going to segue into whips. But I completed a baby blanket. I have a friend who has 2 small children and she is going through some ish right now. So I was feeling really upset about that. She has some heart issues. She is not in good health. And she's my best friend from babyhood. Actually, I'm going to show you. This is us when we were babies. We were born 1 week apart and we lived across the street from each other. And this is this friend. And she's not doing well. And I'm feeling a whole lot of feelings about the fact that she's not doing great. And I was like, what can I do about this? And I was like, you know what? I can send her some knit pigs. And then I can make baby blankets for her kids. So I finished one of them already. This was just knit corner to corner on the bias using some acrylic yarn from Michaels. I think the color is Sage. Don't quote me. I did like a broken garter. So I do all of my knitting, my garter, my stockinette, whatever, it's purl. Purl is the dominant stitch for me instead of knit. So I did 3 rows of purl, 1 row of knit, and then that created the like ridges, which is one of my favorite, just kind of like no thoughts required stitch recipes. I love it. And then I did 10 stitches for the border. So on one side of it, I did just increases on either side, and then on the decreasing side, I just decreased either side. Didn't do anything special. And yeah, I just did like 36 by 36 basic thing. So hopefully she likes it. And then I also, when I wove in the ends, I think I've talked about this before. So I'm pagan, and one of the things I like to do occasionally to incorporate magic into the things I made is when I weave in the ends, I will leave them extra long, and then I will sew runes into the back. So I did sew runes into the back of the blanket just for a little something extra. I can't even tell what they are because, of course, when you tie it off, like, you can no longer tell. I think I put Thurisaz and Tiwas just kind of as some like to give strength and to give success. So that's that. And I'm still working on the second blanket. Oh, also these are in a Michael's, stop it, like a $2 Michael's trick-or-treat tote bag. I'm obsessed with this. You know who's obsessed with it more? My cat. My cat Morrissey is like, it's like part of his daily routine is to like rub his face all over this and like cuddle with this bag. He doesn't care about the knitting at all. He just cares about the bag. And like if it's hanging on the side of the couch, he will knock it off the side of the couch just so he can like rub his face on it, and then he'll like chew the air around it. Like, he doesn't chew the bag, he just like chews the air, and he's having a great time, but he's a menace. So yesterday when I grabbed this bag to move it downstairs after having an asthma attack and realizing that I could not hang out on the couch with this knitting project, he was so absolutely betrayed. Like, I was like, I'm sorry. So after I finish showing it, I am going to have to put this back upstairs, or otherwise I will get disowned by my own cat, who's not my cat, he's my roommate's cat. But he's mine in spirit. Anyway, I am now working on the second one for his sister. So I'm in the decreases on this one. So I did a different pattern because I thought it would be weird if they were exactly the same. So for this one, I was doing increases, and every time I got to 10 stitches on the next round, I would do the increase and then slip a stitch and then knit to the next one and slip that one. So it's like, it ends up being 8 stitches, slip stitch, 8 stitches, 8 stitches, slip. So that's the pattern. It's very, very, very simple. And again, I just started decreases this week. So, and these, I should mention, when I work on these, I work on it half an hour a day. It's how I start my knitting day, is I set my half-hour timer and I just kind of hang out on the couch, usually without any music playing or anything. And I just do half an hour of like basic worsted, like no thoughts required, back and forth knitting, mostly purl, and I'm having a great time with that. And in fact, I like it so much. This is what inspired me to start doing the Project Minus blankets. If you saw my update earlier this week when I got a giant box of Brava, and I was very confidently like, this seems like a lot of yarn, and it is not, and it's going to be fine. The Brava is the only thing I am not stressy about in my yarn stash. My yarn stash is completely full right now, as you can possibly tell. The Brava I am not stressed about because I know confidently that if I spend half an hour a day knitting for someone who is not me, then I will have a blanket to donate once a month. Like, and you know, we're gonna go on a tangent now. So the world's a mess. The world's a mess. I'm going through it like on a personal level. Most of my friends are also going through it on like personal levels. And I feel like most of the world right now is just going through it on some personal levels. And one of the things I believe in, like spiritually, religiously, whatever, is that like action is very important. Like action is like a form of prayer itself. And so, and just kind of like based on that mindset, like I feel like it's important to like take action to make the world a better place and a more empathetic place. So one of the things that I can do to do my part in that is to spend half an hour a day knitting for strangers. So, and I feel like I was already kind of doing that every time I make pigs, because like when I make pigs, I don't necessarily think about like my personal friends. I think about just like random people I might run into who just might be having a crappy day, and like suddenly they have a tiny pig. Like that's who those are really for. Which I think is weird, because I think sometimes my friends like they see me making all of these pigs, and I think in their head they're like, I obviously will get one, and then I forget to give them pigs, which like I'm happy to give my friends pigs. Like I'm not like, wow, you're so ungrateful, you're entitled. No. That's not a thing. But like for me, I'm like, the pigs are for just like random people I see out in the world, you know? And so the pigs are part of that, but I have gotten a little bit burned out on pigs. But I'm like, I can knit blankets. Like I can knit blankets for Project Linus and do something to let like future generations know that they're cared about, even if the situation they're born into is not like fantastic, you know, like they're still good in the world, and I can be the one to put that good into the world, I guess. So that's kind of my thought process. So yeah, I'm making those blankets for my friend, but after that I'm going to continue the habit of half an hour a day knitting, just to kind of do something, just to like take an action to make the world a little bit better. So that's that. Anyway, I also have 2 more finished objects. They are both socks, and we're going to go with the most ridiculous one first. So, have you ever seen the pattern Banana and Sockin'? It looks like this. It's knit toe up. It's 5 rows stockinette, 5 rows reverse stockinette on one side, and then on the other side it's 2x2 ribbing. So it's just 2 different kinds of ribbing, and it creates a natural curve, and the natural curve fits your foot. I chose banana colors because I think it's funny. I'm not gonna say who this is, because the person that they're for, to my knowledge, has never watched one of these podcasts, but they do follow me on the Instagram, and sometimes I link my podcast episodes on Instagram, and just on the off case I do that, and they decided, like, they see it and they click the link and they start watching, and they get 49 minutes into an episode. Jesus Christ. I don't want them to be spoiled yet. I'm sure if they saw this, they would immediately know that it's for them, because there's only one person I knit such ridiculous things for. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited about those. Those are a good pattern. Also, the pattern is so chill. Like, I think it doesn't even give you a stitch count. It's just like cast on however many stitches you usually do when you make socks. And I'm like, thank you. You understand the pattern assignment. I don't want my hand held. So, the last finished object, we finally made it, is another pair of Hideo socks by Audrey Borrego. This yarn, I don't remember what it is. I think it's paint box yarns, I believe. The color is Mystery, which has thrown me off every time. And then the contrast color was sent to me by my friend Kaylee. Again, I'm obsessed with this pattern. I would knit it again and again and again if I did not have a spreadsheet of other sock patterns waiting for me to knit them. So these are also going to be for my mom, because her birthday is the same week as Christmas, so I have to give her 2 presents. And I just, oh my god, I love these so much. So I'm going to go bag those both up. here in a hot second when we finish. I promise we're getting near the end. I only have 2 more things to show you. So, in this bag, which is Bags for Not Me, yesterday was Friday, which means I cast on a new pair of socks. And I did not get very far because my ADHD was ADHDing yesterday. But I did start. I've got, a little bit done of this pair of socks. This is another gift pair. This is pair number 5 out of 10. That's where we are at. This is Felici yarn in the color Silent Film. And then the contrast color is Stroll in the color Poppy. This is showing up brighter on camera than it is in real life. It is actually a dark red and it's going to look super cool. I love it because it's going to be kind of Christmassy, kind of Valentine's-y, kind of just a sock you can wear all sock season. So I'm only going to use that for the heel because I want the stripes to just kind of do their thing. I'm obsessed with the Silent Film colorway. I know I haven't even finished a full stripe repeat. Don't care. I'm obsessed. I'm really happy that I have another ball of it. I also have a 100-gram ball of Lang in a colorway that is also grayscale. I'm obsessed. Grayscale socks are my new favorite thing. So I'm going to be a menace once I am free to knit whatever I want with grayscale socks because I need a pair. I'm going to use this contrast color when I make a pair for myself. That is Everglades and Stroll. It's going to be great. Anyway, in this bag, which was a gift from my mom at some point, I have all of my self-striping scraps, which is why I am knitting so many self-striping things. And I have in here a northeasterly blanket on the go. So wish me luck unraveling this. This is going to be a full-size blanket. So I have one stripe completely done so that I don't have to think any thoughts ever again on this project. And I'm working on the second stripe right now. This one has specific places that I'm knitting it. So I knit it when I go to D&D, which of course I have missed D&D for like a month and a half because I haven't been able to talk. And I also have a local craft night once a month that I go to, and so I've worked on that there twice. But I just have all of my different self-striping yarns. And then I'm holding it double with Palette Penny Royal, which is like this lovely grayish purple color that just naturally goes with literally everything. So I'm enjoying the crap out of that. Mostly I'm adding in Tiny Human Knits colors right now. So yeah, I love the way that it's marled up. I have significantly edited this pattern to the point where I'm not sure how recognizable it is to the actual pattern. First of all, my garter stitches purl. Second of all, I changed the center decreases or the center increases. You're supposed to do like make one left, make one right. I did not want to have to think thoughts, so I'm doing yarn overs instead because I want it to look nice and neat on the right side. So what I do instead is I purl till I get to the center, and then I do a knit stitch, and then I do a purl stitch, and that automatically puts 2 yarn overs. And then I just purl to the end, and then I do, instead of a, whatever it is, I do a slip purl. And then I'm binding the yarn on the opposite side of the way that the pattern calls for. And at the start of it, I'm doing it 2 rows early because it wasn't lining up properly when I did it according to the instructions. And I knew that if I continued on that pattern, then every single time I added a new stripe, it would just be 2 rows down and I would have a blanket doing this. And I was like, no, thank you. So I'm just, basically, I just redid every part of the pattern because I'm a menace. So it's not that it's a bad pattern. It's just that I am who I am as a person. So I go to the beat of my own drum, and heaven help anybody who thinks otherwise. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying that pattern. It's really, really, really fun and relaxing, and I don't have to think a single thought, so people can talk to me constantly. I do need to find a better way of storing this, because, like, what is happening right now? But, it's fine. It's fine. Anywho, that is all of my knitting. We have almost made it to an hour. I'm going to try to wrap it up in less than 4 minutes. We'll see how that goes for me. I just realized I was going to take my hair down for this episode because I washed it recently and it's really curly and looks wonderful. And I've definitely had it just like doing this the whole time. So that's nice. That's wonderful. Anyway, I'm trying to think of what else I've been up to. I'm reading a book right now that's about food culture of medieval Spain. Being sick so much has led me to be on a lot of like random rabbit holes. Right now I'm obsessed with Habsburg, Spain. I don't know. I have nothing to say for myself about that. If you've been following me on Instagram, you have also come with me on this journey, whether you wanted to or not. It is what it is. I've been listening to a lot of Baroque music. The Baroque music at this point is choosing me. I'm not choosing the Baroque music. So there's that. I got a new reading chair set up in my room. You can't see it. I'm just pointing over there. I'll put a picture of it. It's really comfy. It was like only $100. It was off of Amazon. I love it so much. It's so comfortable. It's like the most comfortable chair I've ever sat in. So I'm really enjoying sitting there, doing some knitting, doing some reading. Yeah. So I think that's all I have to say. My next episode will not be this long because I will not have to go over like 2 months worth of knitting shenanigans. But thank you for sticking with me. If you are here at the end, you are the real MVP because I know this is stupidly long. But yeah, that is everything I have to say for now. Thank you so much for being here. Find some whimsy in your day. Find some good in the world. Forehead kisses for you. Okay, bye.